Hello, everybody. Wow, that might be a little too loud. Welcome. Thanks for your patience. We were waiting for a guest to arrive, so I think we are all here now. And I am so happy to welcome all of you to graduation. We have a lot of clients graduating today, and we have some great speakers. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time introducing the ceremony. I'm going to let us get to it. But just a reminder, if you don't have your cell phones on silent, please put them on silent so we don't get interrupted. And if anybody needs them, bathrooms are down this hall and behind the stage. And give a shout if you can't hear, although I don't think that's going to be a problem. So I think we're good. In that case, I will move us on to the first speaker, which I believe is Deb. Woohoo!
What a fantastic crowd. At our last graduation, I was talking about our new program at Orange. It was going to launch pretty much the week after graduation. And up to that point, we had been imagining what could happen at Orange. And I'm so excited to give you guys an update. I'd imagined many things, and what I'm amazed by is the level of training on the dogs that are graduating today. And that is a direct result of our relationship at Orange. The prison is located literally across the street from where we are. And because of the proximity and how easy it is for us to access the trainers and get information and exchange dogs back and forth, the trainers, who are pretty much our best trainers in the entire program, were able to handcraft each one of these dogs as we learned more about the clients who might be receiving them. And I basically am absolutely thrilled as a trainer to see the level of training on the dogs that are going out today. It is just an amazing testament to the work of the ABLE program and our relationship with DAC. The second part is probably the most exciting. And that is, so we work with prison programs that are about an hour away, and those folks are in medium custody, which means they're kind of a long way off from being released, if that is a possibility for them. At Orange, they will be released back in the community within a number of years. And without the Orange program, that gap between being in the ABLE program and going home, it's kind of a big gap. And so the chances are we wouldn't get to necessarily see or have contact with those folks even after they were released into the community. Super excited to introduce Angel Mellos, who was exactly one of those guys. He was in our program years ago, and I'm pretty sure that he thought when he left the program, he wasn't sure that we would see each other again. And not only have we gotten to see each other, but we've gotten to work together closely. And I'm also pretty sure that he never imagined he'd be giving a speech today. He was released from Orange on Sunday, and he starts work at EENP on Monday.
How's everybody doing today? Just to let y'all know, I'm terrible at speeches, so bear with me. I'm going to start off my speech by telling y'all about a question of the week that a fellow trainer gave us to answer. It was, how would you describe ABLE in one word and why? The other trainers' answers were service, victorious, opportunity, and evolution. But me, being the complicated guy that I am, one word wasn't doing it for me. So My answer was second opportunity. I'll tell you why later, and to understand, I'll tell you things about my life. I come from a loving and supportive family that raised us to always do the right thing. But I was the bad apple in the family. I loved doing things I had no business doing at all. At a young age, I got into selling and doing drugs, but after a few months, I figured I could make more money if I quit doing drugs. At school, I was not a bad student. I usually got straight A's, sometimes B's. Lots of stuff. And in my junior year, I dropped out of high school so I could make more money. And I did it without my parents knowing because I knew they would be disappointed in me. And my parents' approval was always important for me throughout my whole life. And telling them that I dropped out of high school would have been a major disappointment to them. In 2015, my life changed. I was arrested for trafficking cocaine in Alamance County. After a while, I was bailed out by a friend that is like family to me, and that's when my legal battles began. I always, sorry, I forgot my glasses. I was always going back and forth to court, and my family always by my side, even on short notice. They would call out of work so they could be there by my side. But at least I was on bond, and I was able to be there for the good times, like seeing my niece being born, and sadly the bad times, burying her a month later. Then my grandma got sick, and not being able to go to Mexico to see her before she passed. I never told anyone, but that day that I found out that she passed, I cried so much. Because I never got to see her, I was never able to tell her that I loved her, I was never able to hug her, and I was never able to laugh at her. That day I hated myself so much. I was disgusted, disappointed, and ashamed of myself. I blew my only chance to ever see her. And broke my promise to her that I was going to go down there to spend some time with her. But getting arrested had changed all of that. I became bitter, but I learned something from that, and I keep that lesson with me. Never take anyone for granted, and always tell the ones you love that you love them, even if they upset you. I tell my mom every time we talk that I love her, and my dad, we don't say it because we're manly men, but we know that we love each other. I got sentenced in 2017. When you get to prison, for some people it clicks instantly. For others, it takes a while. For me, it was 6 months later. Yeah, it was 6 months of being locked up when it finally hit me. When I saw myself in the mirror while I was brushing my teeth, that I am incarcerated. I got so mad, I punched the mirror and walked away. Later that day, I filled out a request form asking to be enrolled in GED. And that's when I started making better decisions and trying to better myself. I graduated and got my diploma and was second in my class. And after that, I enrolled in more classes and started just finding anything that would catch my interest. One day, I was walking by the hallway and I saw the bulletin board that had an ABLE sign-up sheet. And that day, I started remembering my little dog I had at home. So I filled out a request form, signing up for it, and after a while, I was accepted into ABLE. At first, it was all weird because when we get to prison, I mean, it's like everybody's all happy and stuff. And like, I mean, when you first get into the program, you're like, oh, why is everybody happy for? It's just You're in prison. You're not supposed to be laughing and smiling all the time. And then one trainer took me aside and started showing me some skills. Then we went outside to play with Zelda. The trainer threw a ball, and Zelda was so happy she just couldn't help herself. She just took off running, and I smiled. Then she came back after a while and brought the ball back and gave it to the trainer. The trainer handed it to me, and I threw the ball. Zelda took off, and that was my first real laugh in a long time. In the following months, I learned a lot from the program. Things including teamwork, communication, improvising, hard work, dedication, and friendship. I learned to become a better me. Training these dogs so they can help people brought me a lot of joy. In the beginning, you learn that you cannot allow yourself to get attached to these dogs because they'll be leaving you in 4 months. It worked out all right for the beginning. And then it all changed when I got a dog named Stinson. He was an amazing dog, and we both grew together. When I learned that he got placed, I never been so happy in my life. When people always ask me who's my favorite dog, I grin, and I always tell them without hesitation, Stinson. I joke even with the trainers that my first kid wouldn't be named Stinson. A few months later, I got promoted to minimum custody and let Abel thinking that would be the last time I would work in Abel. So I took all the paperwork I thought I would need. Every other week, I would pull him out and practice my training. A few years have passed, and I kept working on my training. I also learned a lot of other helpful skills. I always wondered how the other guys was doing that have hoped that they were just succeeding and improving in the program. Then one day, my case manager calls me up to the office. And when I got there, she tells me that they're about to start Orange Correctional and if I want to be a part of it. So I weighed the pros and cons quickly in my head. The pros, actually practicing my skills, closer to home, doing something good, but the most important, the food. Cons, none that I could think of, so I accepted and went to Orange Correctional where I met the other trainers. So after a while of talking to the guys, they asked me if I could remember anything from my training. I told them yeah, and that I still had all my paperwork, and I showed them. They all looked at me like I was crazy. I'm glad to be part of a great team. I know this is a little longer than expected, but I'm almost at the end of the speech. So to the point of this information, why it was important, why I picked second opportunity as my one word to describe Abel was because before Abel, I literally had no skills whatsoever. I had no plans for when I got home. Now, I have big plans and cannot wait for them to play out. I also learned in Abel the F word. No, I didn't learn how to cuss in prison. I learned that in the streets. The F word that I'm talking about is failure. I learned that it does not exist in the Abel vocabulary. It's simply a not yet. We keep working, we keep pushing, and in need be, we ask for help until the not yet turns into a past. Before this, if I fail at something, I would just shrug it off. Now, I will keep working until I succeed and let nothing stop me. I wrote this speech while I was in prison. I wrote this speech while I was still in prison because I knew Deb or Maria or both would ask me to give a speech. And honestly, when I get out of prison, I will probably be doing other things than writing a speech. So I was also supposed to talk about how it feels getting out of prison. I will probably feel overwhelmed, ecstatic, overjoyed, and sad. Sad because all the trainers that have became great friends are still waiting for their chance. Sad because the other ones that are supposed to make it to OCC still haven't. But it wasn't just the ABLE program that helped me. It was Deb, Maria, all past, present EENP staff, all ABLE trainers, furlough trainers, young puppy caregivers, the board of directors, volunteers, donators, and the ones we work hard for, give it our all for, swallow our pride and ask for help when we simply cannot figure it out ourselves, to make sure that these dogs are ready for the clients. Thank you.
So in Angel's speech, he referenced the question of the week. He referenced the question of the week, and that's something that the ABLE trainers in all of our programs fill out a journal every week that they do planning, training plans for their dogs, what they're going to do for training, but they also do some personal reflection, journal work, and there are 5 questions. Well, there are 5 questions that repeat, and then there's always a question of the week. And the staff used to come up with a question of the week, but now the trainers come up with the question of the week. And at Orange, I would go in every week, and they've got a chalkboard, and I'd see what the question of the week was. And it's something that it's a reflective question, but kind of a bigger picture question. But story I'm going to tell on Angel that it kind of captures who Angel is. I went in one week and the question was, what are you going to miss most when Angel leaves? Or something like that. I think Angel came up with that question that week. And so for me, my answer to that question of the week is nothing, because I get to work with Angel every day and I'm really excited about that. What I am looking forward to about working with Angel is coming to understand the mysteries of Angel, because he's a guy who will make you think that he couldn't care less. He's always got a joke for an answer, but yes, when I asked him if he would write a speech, he said, I knew you were going to ask me. And within a week, he handed me a speech. I didn't ask him to give me a draft. I didn't ask him to work on it ahead of time, but this is a month before he's getting out, and he says, here's a draft, what do you think? He's a planner and a hard worker, and he covers it with a veneer of laughter, but I'm really looking forward to working with him, because I think that there's going to be a lot of fun stuff to discover under there. So thank you for sharing that, Angel. And next up we have a returning client speaker. Avery Painter was matched with Finn last year. And she is going to share a little bit about what her experience has been in the, not quite a year, almost a year since they got matched. So, thank you so much.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm Avery, this is Finn. Shout out to Angel. Is that your real name? Yeah. That's so fitting. It is so fitting. You made me cry a little bit. My whole life, I have been surrounded by legs. I've been surrounded by tall legs, hairy legs, frail legs, tanned legs, you name it. There would be dozens of legs in one room at one time trying to help me. After having my heart rate reach into the 200s, multiple syncopal episodes a day, heart arrhythmias, ambulance rides, and the horrible knowledge that dysautonomia has no cure, all those legs tried to tell me to drink more water, and there was nothing they could do to help me. I was heartbroken and so tired of hitting a brick wall. That wasn't until I found EENP. I'm going to quote a little Miley Cyrus here because before I knew it, EENP came in like a wrecking ball. This organization has helped me become the person I have always wanted to be. They've helped me achieve my goals and do so independently with Finn. Now, this group is a little extra special to me because of a few people in particular. First, do y'all see the curly red hair girl right up there? Yes. That's my friend. Her name is Sarah. A couple years after I was diagnosed, Sarah also got sick. She went through the same routine that we know all too well. But it was clear to her that EENP can break down any brick wall, even hers. Our 4 legs met up and we talked about how Finn has changed my life and how possibly a service dog could do the same for her. But before I knew it, Sarah was on the wait list counting down the hours to the best day of her life. Okay, now, Sarah, don't kill me for saying this, but Sarah has a huge obsession with raccoons. Like, if you saw her water bottle, it's covered in these, like, raccoon stickers, and her Instagram is a constant cycle of, like, raccoon memes, like celebrating birthdays or wearing bikinis. She literally has a raccoon bag right now. Crazy. But after just seeing in this short time about how her service dog, Ralph, has already made an impact on her life, I think it's safe to say that the raccoons will now be replaced with Ralph, possibly in birthday hats or wearing bikinis too, you never know. Second, I also want to highlight a familiar face. Jennifer is a registered nurse at UNC, and she's at the UNC specialty clinic where I received my complex care. Last year, Jennifer came up to me and had some questions about Finn, and she also told me that she was on the wait list for EENP. So imagine my surprise when I see Jennifer just walking down here. She got a service dog now too. It's crazy to see this because EENP does change lives, and I'm so happy that they have changed yours. And lastly, I also want to have a shout out to Ben. Ben was in my client team training class last year when he first got matched with Savannah. Lisa, his amazing mother, was originally the initial handler for Savannah, but after a rigorous year of training and lots of distraction games, I am so happy to see the leash get passed off to Ben, my brother from another mother. Ben and his family are one of those families that I know I will stay in touch with for a lifetime. And to all the new graduates, welcome home. This is the best furry family you will ever be a part of. We hope you feel the love and support we have towards you because we know how amazing it is to experience this opportunity. There are so many different legs here that are ready to help you through this new chapter of life. Because of Finn helping me get my independence back, I recently just graduated and I'll be attending App State this fall. Roll years. As a graduation present, the Massacre family actually got me a book, and it's called The Cafe on the Edge of the World. And I'm going to quote a little something from that book. Suddenly, a strange sensation came over me, like I was standing precariously close to the edge of a very steep cliff, and that if I took one more step forward, it would bring me either immediate death or eternal happiness. We all find ourselves on the edge of a cliff sometimes. But the difference between falling and flying depends on who's holding the other end of your rope. EENP has always been holding on to my rope. Now, we might not be able to physically hold on to it, some of us, but the dogs definitely know how to, so that's good. During this enduring experience, I've met the people that make me wonder how life can be so difficult and so enchanting all at the same time. My family has grown even more than just my beautiful mom and dad and their very own legs. The love that surrounds me is astronomical. Even though I have lost so much, I have also gained something even more special, and that's a family. I am now surrounded by hundreds of different legs that support me in everything I do. Who knew all it took was 4 furry legs to save my life? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Avery. Hi guys, my name is Hannah. I'm client services for EENP, so I get the amazing opportunity to work with clients all from the first phone call or first email when they are reaching out just wanting to ask questions or wanting to learn a little bit more, all the way up until client team training and then graduation and aftercare. So you will see me forever, I promise. But sorry, good speeches. Now we're going to start the leash ceremony part. So this is obviously my favorite part. So clients, why don't you go ahead and hand your leashes over to the trainers. Okay, so first up, we're gonna have Ben Mescar. So Ben, come on up. Like Avery mentioned, Ben might look familiar to some of you. So Ben and Savannah actually were part of the class last year in July. And they graduated as a facilitated placement. So what that means is even though Ben is the client, Mom Lisa is actually the handler of Savannah. But after a year and 2 more extra weeks of training, Ben is now ready and confident to take on the leash for Savannah so he can bring Savannah to school. And presenting Savannah and her leash today is Ben's mom, Lisa. We're getting some alerts too, so it might be extra exciting soon. Aww. I will say one of the first things that Ben asked when we were talking about go ahead and bring your dog home, and since you're the handler of your dog, you are in control of who gets to pet your dog and interact with your dog. And Ben immediately got a smile on his face and was like, does that mean I can tell my mom that she's not allowed to pet my dog? I don't think he kept tight, but I think I think family was still allowed to interact, but Ben was now excited that he got to have that power. So second up we have Olivia Iger. So Olivia is very much a social butterfly, loves Harry Potter, Disney, One Direction, horses, you name it. Olivia, from the very, very start, made it clear that she chose Larry. No matter what we decided, she had chosen Larry. During the initial meet and greet, she made sure to tell us how much she loved Larry and how, and just watching them interact was super, super sweet. During the meet and greet, or during the home visit that I did, Olivia played fetch with Larry for the entire 2 hours, which if you know Larry, that is his love language, and they were together. During client team training, so the first 2 days, they kind of rotated between different dogs. Olivia was always the last to let go of Larry's leash and always had to give extra belly rubs and extra pets. She also told me how much Larry looks like her favorite horse, Fritz. So I really just think that this was meant to be. And Larry knew it, or Olivia knew it even before we did. Larry has shown how he helps Olivia balance when she walks and goes up and down stairs. He'll help pick things up if she drops them, and can get Olivia's mom, Erica, if Olivia needs help. So handing off Larry today is one of his fellow trainers, Audra Kosh. Gotta get those extra scratches out. Next up we have Ken Weiss. So Ken likes to spend his days watching sports, going for walks in the park by his house, and chatting with his neighbors during happy hour. Throughout these 2 weeks, so Ken was matched with Smokey, and throughout these 2 weeks, as time goes on, Deb even mentioned it the other day, the similarities between Smokey and Ken just became super, super apparent. Smokey also loves relaxing outside and loves long walks as well, so again, perfect match. During training, Ken and Smokey were both also just so patient with each other, which is so important in this new relationship, and it was super sweet to see. Most importantly, Smokey was there at the end of the long days of training, to take a long walk, to unwind, or to just relax and snuggle. Sometimes both. Along with being a constant companion, Smokey will also help Ken if he drops his phone or anything else, and will help him open and close doors as well. And handing off Smokey today is his young puppy trainer, Carrie Wang. Smokey just can't believe that two of his favorite people are like up there with him and just together. It's just mind-blowing. Next up, we have Helen Rice Lyles. So Helen loves to cook, especially pasta. She also enjoys going to lunch with her friends, playing bingo, and going for walks. I also learned during client team training that Helen is extremely gracious. She always is making sure to say thank you to everyone that's helping her, and the being that I heard her thank the most during client team training was Canyon. And it was really sweet because anytime we would say, okay, like, Helen, tell your dog to sit, Helen would tell Canyon to sit, Canyon would sit, and Canyon would wiggle, and Helen would say, thank you. And so it was very, very sweet to see, and that would just cause Canyon to get even wigglier and wagglier and just really, really jazzed. Canyon has already alerted Helen multiple times a day when her blood sugar is out of range, or even before it goes out of range, so that Helen can stay within range. She has even woken Helen up a couple of times to let her know that she needed to do something, which Helen was saying that, like, at first when she was trying to sleep and Canyon kept bumping her, she was like, oh, like, she said that she forgot she had a dog for a second. She was like, what are you doing? Go away, let me sleep. But Canyon was persistent and woke Helen up so that Helen could do something to stay healthy. Canyon will continue to alert Helen to her blood glucose levels, as well as alert to oncoming seizures. And handing off Canyon today is her young puppy trainer, Emily Edgington. I also have a feeling that in aftercare, like, Canyon might start some new dance moves, because I've been seeing Helen and Canyon dance a little bit, so I'm really excited to see that. Next up, we have Sarah Phipps. So Sarah just graduated high school just a few weeks ago, so this is her second graduation in June. She's heading off to college in the fall, and now she will have a new companion to go with her. So Sarah was matched with Ralph, and Ralph's love of cuddling just made it, like, absolutely perfect, because Sarah needs deep pressure therapy, and Ralph is, like, always happy to give deep pressure therapy, along with, like, lots of face licks and snuggles and everything that you can possibly need. During client team training, Ralph has demonstrated the love of his job and the love of you, or his love of you, with multiple alerts for your high heart rate and oncoming seizures. Ralph also went and got Sarah's mom at one point when Sarah was unconscious, and, like, made sure that Sarah's mom, like, knew something was wrong, and she had to go back to Sarah and make sure that she was okay. And yeah, I'm excited to see what you guys do in college. Can't wait to see, like, 4 years down the line, college graduation. Ralph better have a nice little robe and a cap too. And handing off Ralph today is his young puppy trainer, Hannah Blake Harris. Ralph is already dressed for success. I think the day after they got matched, Ralph showed up and he was wearing his bow tie. So he is ready to go and ready to impress. And lastly, we have Jennifer Pegram. So through all of client team training, Jennifer demonstrated patience and perseverance. When she encountered any obstacle during training, she immediately, like, turned around and was like, okay, I'm ready, let's problem solve this. And, like, not only did she problem solve it, but she made sure to do it again so that she was successful. And that's how she wanted to end that note. Leonard also, like, this is, I feel like, a unique client team training because I feel like the dogs actually knew the badges before we did. And during the meet and greet, Leonard made it clear that Jennifer was his person. And it was quite remarkable because if you know Leonard, he's a little silly, goofy boy. But during the meet and greet, when we were trying to play with toys, Leonard just went and laid by Jennifer like, no, toys are for babies. This is work now. This is important. He worked with her like they had been partners for years, even though they had just met, and just seeing them together during these 2 weeks, as well as all the other clients, has just been absolutely incredible. And I'm excited to see Jennifer and Leonard take on the world with confidence and go for walks on the beach and maybe do another solo evaluation in the mall. I don't know. And handing off Leonard today is his young puppy trainer, Deborah Gibbs. Leonard wants to make sure that all of his friends know that he's graduating as well, and that they're not the only ones. Congratulations.
Jennifer is going to stay on stage and say a few words, and you just have to give me a second to get her mic turned on.
Testing?
Right here, okay? Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. Hi. Lena took some notes from Ralph and he wore his bow tie today. As Maria said, my name is Jennifer Pegram, and I was born with cerebral palsy, which causes me to have significant difficulties with balance and coordination. I'm beyond proud to stand with my classmates and to call myself an EENP graduate. I am especially proud to have Leonard by my side for mobility assistance. He is the successor to my retired service dog, Smidget, who now we have with our family as a beloved pet. I'm honored to have the privilege. Sorry. It's been a long wait. I'm honored to have the privilege of sharing with everyone some of my own insights into the adventure of client team training. As I now sit on the other side of this experience and personally reflect upon how to describe team training in a nutshell, the first image that comes to mind is a roller coaster. In the words of an author, Sebastian Cole, with peaks of joy and valleys of heartache, life is a roller coaster ride, the rise and fall of which defines our journey. It is both scary and exciting at the same time. The roller coaster that is team training brought about every conceivable emotional high and low from the very first day to the very last. I remember the hopeful unknown of day one, followed by the excitement and anticipation of EENP's first matching ceremony at the prison, the frustration of the continual rain, and everyone's individual battles with stress and fatigue in processing so much new information so quickly and in managing a physically demanding schedule that was, for the most part, a far cry from our usual daily grind. I must admit that as a mom of two young boys, who you've probably heard in the front here, and a 12-year-old retired service dog, I really thought that I probably had a pretty solid warm-up for the rigor of team training. But Leonard and I can honestly say that it kicked our tails. That's true honesty. But more importantly than that, what I really remember is the thrill of the climb. In that unpredictable climb from the bottom to the top of the roller coaster, there's freedom and independence. And that is worth everything to an individual dealing with some type of limitation. It's only in somehow getting to the peak of the roller coaster that one gets a glimpse of the potential that lies in a commitment to see the ride through despite the highs and lows along the way. We can't eliminate struggle completely, such as life, but now we each have priceless support in our navigation of whatever life's journey has in store. With strong canine shoulders to brace against, we can all stand or sit tall and strong when the world knocks us down from our highest points of joy or temporarily turns upside down in our midst. Thanks to the EENP community, our individual networks of support, and of course our amazing dogs, we can now confidently buckle up and actually enjoy the ride. I will leave you with some tiny wisdom from our 31st president, which I know seems weird, but I promise hopefully it'll click. His perspective ironically seems to perfectly describe the essence of freedom and its gift to the big picture of who we are and all we hope to become. He said, "Freedom is the open door through which pours the sunlight of the human spirit and human dignity." On behalf of the Summer 2023 Client Team Training class, a heartfelt thank you to all supporting today's graduates, family, friends, and loved ones. As I look at my family over there, a lot of the friends I have out here, but all of us are inwardly doing the same thing. I'm just not as good at holding it in. But most especially to EENP as an organization for its steadfast commitment to facilitating greater independence and dignity for so many, as well as for championing the vibrancy of the human spirit in those of all abilities. Thank you.
I'm not sure how many of you can hear, but Jennifer's not the only one who got emotional. Smokey's also feeling it right now. It's a little hard for him to be disconnected from his he wants his young perpetrator to be next to his transitions, they're hard. I can focus. I think for me, the theme of this client team training has been a sort of full circle experience. I guess I'll step back. So for the 3 months since the Orange Correctional Center program opened, I have had the pleasure of getting to go into the program multiple times a week to work with the trainers. So in all of our other programs, the programs have been an hour away. It's not my job to go into the prisons, so I go in about 3 times a year. I take pictures, I go to the ceremonies, but I don't get to spend a lot of time really working with the trainers, and all that changed for me with the Orange program. And so I've been going in twice a week, and I've had the pleasure of working with those trainers pretty directly, helping them get questions answered about this current crop of clients. 4 of the dogs were in training at that program for the last 3 months, or 2 months and some. And it helped me get to know both the clients and what they needed, the dogs that are graduating, but also the trainers that I have really just gotten to see in little bits and spurts over the years. I got to know a lot more about what the program means to them, what they're hoping to get out of it, and what they're hoping to do after they're released. And one of the really cool things has been that early on, the trainers came to me with a question about whether the ABLE program could be expanded. And I said, well, there's only so many prisons that would work for the ABLE program that are within a day's drive, EENP. And so there's kind of a cap on how much we can expand. And they said, well, what if some of us, as we're released, moved farther away and were able to support an ABLE program that was farther away? And I think, that conversation, we dubbed it ABLE World Takeover, but, long-term plan, it's a very long-term plan to do that, but it really helped me see how dedicated those trainers are to the program, not just for themselves, but for everyone else. When I asked what's motivating, what's this idea coming from, it was that this program means so much to me, and more people need that. There are more people incarcerated in the system who need that, and so there need to be more programs so that they can have that. I've had the experience then over the last 2 months of working with the ABLE trainers as peers, thinking about the program from a peer level. What do we need? What's needed to take this next step? Really working together to figure things out, not just saying, here, do this is your job. So that's been just an incredibly gratifying experience for me, and I am so thrilled to have that program up and running, and I'm really thrilled with the full circle of, because we had that program and it's so close to our office, the trainers who were training the dogs actually got to hand leashes to the clients during matching. That was an incredible experience. And Angel got to be at that ceremony, and he gets to be at this one, and that's even cooler. I am so excited about the opportunity to keep working with the trainers really continuously, to work with them outside of prison as well as inside of prison. So that's incredibly exciting to me. I have one thing I want to do. I'm not sure if I'm able to yet. Hang on. All right. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do it. We'll see. I may pull it out at the very last minute. But in any case, the ABLE program is growing. We have been able to have our largest client team training ever. We had 6 clients here, 5 new placements. That was really incredible. It was only possible because we had a new facility and because we had the support of the ABLE trainers, because we right now are very understaffed, and we never could have done that if we hadn't had dogs that were incredibly well trained coming out of the ABLE program. We wouldn't have been able to support it any other way. So I want to say, can we just get a round of applause for the ABLE trainers? get to watch a video of this later, so I'm just going to say to the camera, thank you guys. Really appreciate everything that you do. As I mentioned, we are really understaffed, and yet we are continuing to grow. So in the challenges of the coming months, we'll be doing some hiring. And as a community, there are a number of ways you can support that. We need volunteers. We need folks to raise our puppies, to help us raise our litters of puppies. And we also need community support financially in order to make it possible for us to hire the staff that we need to support all of the amazing work that's happening. So in your programs, there is a little donation slip. There's a donation box at the back of at the table in the back. So if any of you are able to make donations today, or you can take that home and mail it in, your support is what makes all of this work possible. It does cost money. And it takes 2 years to train a dog. We offer lifetime support for our placements, so that's years of staff support to make sure that these are the most successful placements that they can possibly be. And we can only do that with the support of the community, so I urge you to join us in that and really help us make that possible. I have... Angel, can I get you to come back up here? So, when Angel was talking about Stinson, and Stinson graduated during the pandemic, which there's this thing that we do, well, you all know what the pandemic was like. We couldn't do graduations, so we do a postcard invitation, and we do the program, and we do these certificates of partnership to recognize everybody who helped place a dog, and none of that happened during the pandemic. And as it turns out, the trainers really like those mementos. I mean, that's what they have. They can't come to graduation. They don't have anything tangible to say, I did this, and this was important. And so since we got back from the pandemic, guys have been asking me, hey, can we get those certificates from those partnerships? And so I did get you a certificate for Stinson. So this is for you. So I think we have a little Stinson memento coming. I was waiting for it to arrive. I think it hasn't quite arrived, but hang around after the ceremony, and we got something, another Stinson memento for you. So, yeah, thank you very much for all you do. It's really exciting to have okay, I'm gonna let you all go. Thank you so much for coming today. I really, really appreciate your support, even your support in being here and showing the clients what a huge community they have supporting them. It's not all going to be easy going forward. Great dogs, but there's always a little bit of work to get it tweaked, and they need your support to make that possible. So thank you so much for showing up for them.